Welcome back to another episode of the Junk Monkeys podcast. I'm your host, Randy McLeod, joined by Bradley Gertzen.
Yes, sir.
Noah Garbutt.
Hello.
And Michael Gertzen.
That's me.
And today, we're going to be talking about our thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Moon Knight, and just the MCU in general, because we're getting a lot of it lately. So, stick around for this episode of the Junk Monkeys podcast. Whoa, yeah. That was pretty good. That wasn't bad, actually.
That was good.
No, you want to give me yours?
No.
All right, cool.
I actually put a lot of effort into that.
No, it was great.
We should have ran with that, yeah.
Yeah. No, we are running with it. We're
okay.
currently in the show right now.
Are we in the show?
Yeah, we're doing
right
it.
now.
We're live?
Whoa, wait, where are we?
Did
Where are
we
we?
turn on the sign?
We don't have
Oh,
a
it is.
recording sign in here.
Yeah. No, out there it says on air.
Okay.
I think.
Jamie, can you pull up that clip?
Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since all four of us have been in here. Last week it was Mike and Beth and I. And then before that, I don't remember. It's been a while. Anyway.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. We decided we wanted to talk about Doctor Strange. We wanted to talk about Moon Knight. We wanted to talk about Marvel. We want to talk about it all.
We want to talk about everything.
We want to talk about everything. But
wanna talk
before
about
we
it all.
talk about everything, I want to impress upon everybody two things. One, we are at 29 subscribers
29, baby.
on
Almost.
YouTube.
Almost there.
We need one more. So if you have a grandmother, get her to download YouTube and get her to subscribe to the Junk Monkeys
Hacker
podcast.
shit, bro. I
You
want
know,
to
maybe
hack
your
grandma's
grandma
account.
made a YouTube account so she could look up like knitting patterns or
Exactly.
something. Just hop on there.
Just do it.
Junk Monkeys.
Click. That's
Yeah.
all you need to do.
Do you have a long lost brother? Maybe connect over over this great podcast. You know.
You know, you haven't called your mom in a while. Maybe you should just get her to subscribe to the Junk Monkeys podcast so
How
she
would-
has some people talking to her.
Just
How would that phone call go, Noah? How would that Hey, mom.
Hey, mom. Been a while.
Oh yeah, please.
I can't really talk right now, but you should subscribe to the Junk Monkeys podcast because I feel like they convey a lot of the thoughts and ideas that I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And your mom's like, please don't call this number again.
Yeah.
Mom's just like, who are you?
Stick that up.
Stop calling me.
Oh, right. My mother has dementia.
Right.
Oh.
Ooh. Second thing I want to impress upon people that there will be spoilers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness,
Me.
for Moon Knight, and I don't know. We'll probably get into other Marvel movie spoilers,
We're
but
probably going to fuck up everything.
probably
Let's
every
forget it
single
all.
movie. We're starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
So in Iron Man 1,
in Iron
Jeff
Man.
Bridges, the villain. Believe it or not.
Guess what? In Iron Man 1, he gets a suit
Fuck no.
made of iron.
All right.
Dude,
Wow.
I was going to watch that movie, too.
Not anymore.
Not
Not anymore.
I was getting around to it.
I was gonna get around to it.
Oh, jeez.
Guys, okay, well, I want to start this off with this may come off as a negative episode, but I honestly think we can have a good discussion about these projects that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
I think
Positivity is key, guys.
Positivity is
we'll look
key.
for the good, but
we're
It's a
definitely
great
going
two
to-
class.
we are
Classroom vibes right now.
we are pulling at straws, but we'll find something.
we'll try our best.
We're going to try our best, but I think we all have the same idea on what the thoughts
Where
are.
we're all at with these
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to start with Doctor Strange as that was the most recent thing. So people might have gone and seen it. And I don't want to talk about Moon Knight yet.
Just going to get mad.
Just gonna get mad.
Yeah, we can't get frustrated before we start talking about multiverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Madness or whatever.
So I wanted to just start off. We went and saw the film. Really, I speak for all of us when I say I think we were all pretty excited going to this.
Yeah, it was a good vibe
You know?
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the first trailer at the end of No Way Home, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
We were
you know?
hyped. I was hyped up after that. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, look at all this crazy shit.
And then the
This
second
tunnel.
trailer, everybody was hyped up out of their minds, and I was like, "This looks good," but the idea of the movie was sustaining me. The idea of the Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange was gonna get me hyped,
And then they kept releasing
and
trailers.
then they just kept on going.
And I started getting really worried.
Me too. So that all being said, Brad, what did you think of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
See, that's a big question.
It
Ask
is.
me, Brandy.
It is.
What
Just
do
your
I
general
think?
thoughts.
What do I think?
This is one of your draft picks for the film draw.
It is. I'm okay. I think it's a crucial part that's needed is like this jump to multiverse Doctor Strange, but also I think it could have been executed a lot better, and there could have been a lot of better scenes.
Yeah.
But there was like a switch up for Marvel, so maybe I'll give them a little break. Didn't love it though.
You didn't love it.
Didn't love it.
Okay. Noah Garbutt, what did you think of Multiverse of Madness?
I feel like it didn't have to be as long of a movie as it was.
Mm-hmm.
The story that we were given didn't really have anything to do with multiverse. I felt like it had the theme of multiverse, but it didn't really further anything until like the end credit scenes.
Yeah. Well, even in the end credit scenes, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
okay.
entire movie didn't further the actual like multiversal war or whatever we're supposed to be expecting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you mean. To combat one point, though, this was only slightly over 2 hours. Most of these
Really?
Marvel movies are like 2.5 to 3.
Really,
True, that's
lately.
true.
It felt longer.
It felt like a long
It felt like a
movie.
long movie.
I mean, it moves. To be fair, like, we are
does.
moving through this movie.
It does,
but it moves too much. So
Yeah.
but for the amount that it
Too
moved,
much.
I feel like it didn't cover enough to further the larger like plan of Marvel's second phase,
We're in the fourth phase.
fourth phase.
jeez.
Yeah.
It's like chapter 2, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say it's the second arc.
Yeah.
See, I always
Second arc,
think that
second
it's second
phase.
phase because like Endgame and everything from like Iron Man 1 to Endgame, that was all first phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then everything after Endgame is all second
Well, yeah,
phase.
it's kind of like that was the Infinity Saga. And now we're kind of in like, we're not sure what we're in, but some people are saying
Secret
Secret Wars.
Wars, yep.
Yeah.
Secret Wars. It's like the Cold Wars of Marvel.
Kind of.
No,
Basically.
it's like
No.
they just take a bunch of multiverse people and make like a mismatched Avengers, and they go hard. From what I know.
There's nobody interesting in our universe. Let's start
But-
taking people from other universes.
Might have
Like,
killed all of our
Quote
characters.
me if I'm wrong. I think Doctor Strange is evil in Secret Wars.
Is he?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Because he's the right hand of Doctor Doom. Am I crazy?
Man, fucking give me Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom
Dr.
isn't
Doom.
inherently evil all the time.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, we need another Doctor Doom.
He's like
'cause
a-
he's so
he's-
crazy.
He's like a necessary evil
yeah.
sort of thing.
Mike, what did you think of Multiverse of Madness?
It had really great scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But terrible plot. So in my mind, like there's a bunch of like 1 minute scenes or a bunch of shots. I was like, okay, that's like awesome. Like could have been like a 10 out of 10 scene. And then they string it together with some of the shittiest plot holes and backstory ever.
Yeah.
So like you get the opening scene with the Cthulhu monster looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to throw in story and like plot by Doctor Strange accidentally stepping on a memory stone.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
And then it's like Chavez steps on it and you get like 45 seconds of
Her entire backstory.
her
and
entire
it's like,
backstory.
Here's a character.
Yeah, instead of anybody asking like, "Oh, who are you? Like, where'd you come from?" or anything, she has to step on this very specific spot in a different dimension.
I
so
see
that
what they were
it
going
goes
for
by
because like
accident.
the golden rule is like show don't tell. So like if somebody asked her and she said like, "Oh, I got scared by a bee," that wouldn't be as good.
No.
However, it was clunky. That was a
Oh, it was
clunky way to
bad. They're
show
like,
like,
I would have been okay with a flashback, man.
sure,
I would've been
fine
okay with a flashback.
start the
yeah.
movie with that maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that would have been much better.
Yeah.
Much,
make her
much
the focus
better.
of the film, but then they don't.
And then like show Doctor Strange sleeping into the. That would have been better.
Yeah.
Like him doing something and then going to bed and then he gets the
Tinkering
dream
with the
waking
watch,
up.
maybe. You know.
Yeah, and then that would make more sense.
Yep.
There was definitely a lot better ways to do the plot. Also, Chavez was the biggest throwaway character ever, and I can't believe she didn't die.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Like, if we're just getting rid of Scarlet Witch anyways, might as well just give her the power to flip around.
Well, apparently Scarlet Witch isn't necessarily dead.
But they don't make that clear.
they don't.
And it's so I
Oh,
hate
pretty
I hate
suicidal.
having to be like we have to rely on interviews after a film to understand whether what we watched in the film happened or not. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you can leave things open to interpretation, but I don't like it when like we find out more information after the film. That means the film did a bad job of telling us information.
Yeah, I feel like the more like basic character questions you get after a film is released, the like worse job you did at fully explaining.
I think so. Well, and I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna jump into my thoughts.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is like half to 3/4 of a good film. I was really digging up until about 2/3 of the way through the movie. Like I was really digging how I don't like Sam Raimi. I think he's not a good director in my opinion. I think like the Spider-Man films are not good. I haven't watched his other stuff, but like him doing superhero movies, I have not enjoyed in the past. Right?
Yeah.
So with this one, I was a little worried, and then we started it. I was like, you know what? This is fun. Like this is like. Aesthetically, this looks really nice. He's doing weird screen transitions, which is always funny, you know, and like, you know, he's got free reign or whatever, you know, like let the guy make the film that he wants, sure. But I really think this movie needed somebody just to rein him in a little, or they needed somebody to write a better script because this was not a good story.
No.
At the end of the film, I swear to God, there is about 2 or 3 moments of like piano playing in the background, sentimental, like we're trying to evoke emotion in the audience here, and it does not work.
Doesn't hit at all.
Because it's being delivered by a zombie face Strange, and it's the dopiest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Even the other moments like that where it's like Chavez Doctor Strange is supposed to be like the dad to kid moments.
Did not work.
Horrendously bad.
So bad.
Good on you, kid.
Oh my God! Do you know why it doesn't work? It doesn't work because they get separated in the final act, and then they finally see each other again, and then Doctor Strange is like, "Oh my gosh, kid!" And I'm like, "Where? You haven't seen her for? You're so obsessed with fucking Christine, bro. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah, in the final act after they get split and everything, it's like if they were trying to go for a father-daughter sort of like relation.
Yeah.
Then Doctor Strange's motivation would have been to get to Chavez, but no, it wasn't. It was to like stop the Grimhold, stop Wanda, and get this like some sort of closure with Christine. Yeah. Like his motivations were so split in the final that it seemed like saving Chavez was just kind of something that like happened as he was trying to do his other things.
And then he milked it. And then he just milked it for a relationship.
The only reason he didn't take her powers is because other guys did it and he wanted to be different.
Yeah.
Well,
that it wasn't like he was like. It didn't feel like he was like, oh, I really liked her. She's like a kid to me. It's like, nah. The other guy thought it was the best idea, and he's like, he already thought of it, man.
No,
I can't something else.
I feel like if he hadn't have had that dream, but still had the same interaction with Chavez, he would have taken her powers.
Especially if Wong told him to. He was like, "Hey, this is the only way."
Yeah, she's too powerful. Like you can tell, like she doesn't have control over her powers, and then all of a sudden, Zombie Strange saying, "Oh no, you do have control over them." It's just like, oh,
you're right, man.
Switch has been flipped.
That's such a good idea.
I like
Strange.
the idea. I like the idea of like Strange being like, "Hey, you've taken us to every universe that we need to go to," and I like that idea. However, and like the message of like you have to believe in yourself is a good message, but it is so clunky in this fucking movie, and it is not well done at all. So overall, like I think the movie is good, but man, it fumbles hard, and it becomes like Multiverse of Madness, more like Multiverse of Madness, you know? Like,
oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say bad. I was thinking badness, but Madness is better because it's not bad.
It's not. There's like some good scenes, and I was like, that looks really cool, or like this action scene's kind of sick.
There are some things that are done very well.
Yeah.
Like for example, the opening scene, the monster in the like guarding the book. Yeah. That's sick.
Wouldn't it be cool if it showed up again later?
Yeah, honestly, I wish it did.
Yeah.
That was
a shame.
Yeah. That was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. Then I never got to see it again. But
it's like, oh yeah, this is the only book in existence that exists in between planes. Yeah. Oh, so that monster should be there. But nah, when we go there, it's not. You know, Wanda's just sent a monster here to like stop us before, but she's not gonna do it this time.
That monster was sick.
Oh yeah, Wanda would have sent that monster, wouldn't she?
Yeah, that was originally a Scarlet Witch monster. Okay. They actually tie it together. They're like with like the Cthulhu monster in that one. There's like,
all the
monsters.
See
runes? He saw runes, right? And he's like, "What about the one in your dream, Wong?" And he's like, "Also runes." Like, witchcraft.
Do you know any?
No. All the monsters, that were sent by Wanda.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
The
and
Strange Mobile.
Exactly what this played out as. This played out as like an old superhero cartoon
Oh yeah, it was
for a lot of parts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not wrong.
I'm trying
many
to.
dope scenes.
Yeah, honestly,
And
like
I didn't hate Doctor Strange Zombie because knowing it was the director
Yeah.
it was like a little like cheesy.
I think
He's like,
cheesy
oh,
little
okay,
throwback
it's
to
like a
his
little
other
throwback
stuff.
because he had like that wasn't animated.
But they already
will-
had those.
Which is
I'll
kinda
say
dope.
it was dope. It was hype as hell when he was like, "Oh, there's no living strangers in that universe." It's like, yeah, not living or whatever. I
Yeah.
butchered that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
Doctor Strangers in that universe, none living. Then all of a sudden we see the grave, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, Randy literally said that. He was beside me in the theater. He was like, "Oh my god!"
But then
Let's
there's
go,
so
Randy.
many
Let's
plot
go.
holes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Doctor Strange gets to use the Grimhold, and all of a sudden these spirits say that he's not allowed to do it. First off, who are these spirits that
Never
say
seen these before.
that we're not
Souls of the
allowed to?
damned.
Souls of the damned. Yeah, what is that supposed to mean?
What-
Why, how come Wanda's able to do this without these
Oh, it's
spirits
because he was
coming?
dead. You can't possess
Yeah.
dead
Yeah.
bodies.
That was he basically broke like the natural law,
Yeah,
which is like a big no-no, I guess. But like,
but these
did
guys
not
aren't-
know there was repercussions until all of a sudden there was these
No
black
idea.
spirit demons.
But then it's-
repercussions didn't seem that bad.
No.
Turned them into wings and
Turned
used
them
them.
into-
Yeah, but
Kinda
then-
cool.
But then
Yeah.
Christine's allowed to use this vase and just automatically
She
knows to
just
hold that
happens
handle
to
to it
know
to
how to
blow
use
them
it.
up. And oh, we killed the spirits in this dimension, so then in the other dimension now Strange has the power just to use them.
You're a mystical being.
Yeah, I don't
Take
know.
control of them. All right.
Yeah,
That's a
and,
great
like-
idea. It's a great idea you just had there.
I'm not like a person that wants to
Outrageous.
nitpick every tiny little thing, you know, like, but like as a whole, the movie doesn't work. By the end of the film, I'm like, what change did we really see in Doctor Strange? Because like he is the main character, so is Wanda,
Mhm.
but Wanda's change is the change we saw at the end of WandaVision
Mhm.
until we got the post credit where she's fucking around with the Darkhold. But like, so her change is exactly the same, and if it probably worked better for people who hadn't watched WandaVision, maybe. I don't know. But like, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you're probably missing out on a lot of this movie.
You know what? That's the thing. I don't think you are missing out on a whole lot after like not seeing WandaVision, because like the whole arc of Wanda was her coming to terms with Vision being dead.
Yeah.
And like she has that moment at the end when like the whole hex is collapsing in,
Mhm.
and like her kids are going to bed, and she's like
Absolutely
she
bawling
says,
at
and
that
she
point.
says her goodbyes and everything, and she comes to terms with Vision's death,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of that is just completely thrown out the window
Yeah.
for this movie.
She's no longer come to terms with it.
Yeah.
And I'm just in there, I'm like, what?
It's an infinite multiverse, so there's going to be infinite amounts of Tommy and whoever the hell the other kid's name is. I can't remember.
You know what did this exact concept better? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. When Wilson Fisk is looking for his family, and he finds them, and like he's obsessed with it, and he wants to make this fucking particle collider or whatever it is. And then many versions of his family see him fighting Spider-Man, and they're like horrified, and they like leave him or whatever. I think that worked way better and was way more deserved. But like Wanda I loved Wanda in this movie. First of all,
It's definitely her movie
absolutely
more than a
true.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange
Yeah.
movie in every sense.
She was great. Oh my gosh, she was
really good.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Scary as fuck.
Just infinite universe. There's gonna be a universe out there where her kids are orphans. Why doesn't she just take those kids?
Great point.
Why does she have to fight this other Wanda for control over her body to try and steal her kids?
Yeah, I don't know.
That wouldn't make a movie, Noah.
Yeah.
I know, but that's the issue when you come into infinite multiverses.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the
There's
one
always
thing you
an
get out of this movie more than anything. Anything can happen in the
There's just
multiverse. Yeah.
Why didn't they just go to this other universe where everything's solved immediately? Well,
Yeah.
because that wouldn't have been interesting.
I will say that like the promise of the multiverse was not really fulfilled in this movie. Obviously we get that scene where they're like jumping through like
There was
like
some
too
really
quickly in my
yeah.
opinion. But like we're jumping through like many different multiverses. But none of them, a lot of them just look like different like film
Film
filters.
styles.
Film styles, film filters like over
yeah.
different like locations. And I'm just like, is this really that different? I mean, the paint one was
The
different.
paint one was cool, and
That
there
was
was
dope.
like a geometry one,
You
wasn't
know
there?
what would have been cool is
think
if
so.
like when
I'm
they were
interested.
like bursting through all those dimensions, is if they stopped for a second and
Like,
then
if
like
they
another
slowed
portal
down.
opened up and they got dragged through it.
Yeah.
Another
I would
portal
like- I
opened
would've-
up, they stopped for a second, got dragged through it.
I would have loved to see like just a little snippet, even like 20 seconds or like of that paint dimension, like just like something cool like that, like some just like a little fresh breathe, or the animation one or something like that.
Yeah.
Be like, oh shit, how do we do? Or like think of it like what am I thinking of here? Like a Scooby-Doo scene.
Where they're going through like hallways.
Yeah, like where they're going through like hallways where they like transition. It's like, oh,
Even-
go this way, or like they're trying to run through like a mansion in a horror
If
movie.
Wanda was chasing them through and they had a reason to be like, hey, we can't stay here because she's right behind us. We
Yeah.
got to go to a different one. That would have been way
That would've
cooler.
been cool.
But instead, they're kind of just breaking through like accidentally.
Yeah, it's like they're going through it on their way to the other one, but
Yeah.
like I don't know.
You
I
know what
would
would
love
have
to
been cool
see some like
is if they
cool
just
chase
did like
scene.
one great big long shot of them like running through like buildings and stuff, and every time they went through a door, it was like a different style, different style, different style.
That would have been dope.
That would have been cool as fuck too.
Or even falling vertically.
Yeah,
Because then at least you'd get a landscape in the background,
Mhm.
and you see it
Yeah.
a little bit longer.
Yeah, I
They
can't remember
They went
most of them.
horizontal, and like the two portals, I think, took up like 2/3 of the screen.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do falling just because
Yeah, you could.
Strange has the cape and everything, and like, oh, I'm falling. No.
You can whatever, don't matter.
Well, the cape got burned. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it
it got
did,
burned at
didn't
that
it?
point.
It
Alright.
did.
And I think Spider-Verse did did he go through some multiverses?
No.
That was no, he didn't.
In
That's gonna be the next
new
one.
trailer.
In the new
has.
trailer,
The
he
trailer
does.
does, yeah.
Because he's in the Indian place and then he goes to like some weird cityscape. I can't wait for that movie.
That one's gonna be good.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's so good.
There's just been so many instances. Like every other multiverse movie so far has hit
Mhm.
really well. I don't know what happened with this one.
I think what happened with this one is that, in my opinion, this movie might get better in 5 years when we look back on it after seeing
Yes.
what this might have set up. But that's kind of my issue is,
I don't want to
you
wait
can-
5 years.
well, I don't mind doing that, but like if you're going to create a movie that has set up, you still have to tell a great story. You do not have an excuse not to tell a great story because you're like, "Oh, but this is going to pay off later." Like,
Yeah.
no, pay it off in a satisfying way in this film. And that's been my major issue with quite a few like Marvel projects lately. Where I'm just like, you're not telling satisfying stories. You may be setting things up, which is cool. Like I was thinking back to Phase 1, and I was like, Iron Man 1 was a great film, like a great story.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really know they were setting something up just yet. Incredible Hulk was not a good movie, but I think that was just because it was just not a good movie.
Yeah.
And then we get Iron Man 2, which was bad because it was setting up a bunch of stuff. In my opinion, not a good movie.
I enjoyed it.
It's
I
fun
didn't hate it,
sometimes,
yeah.
but
War Machine was was War Machine 2?
Yeah, War Machine was
Yeah, I
in it.
liked it. It was good.
that's when we get Don Cheadle instead of the other guy.
And you get the whip guy
The
at
whip
the race
guy.
car.
Whip guy with the race car.
My
that was
board.
good.
Where's my board?
Where's my board?
Where's my board?
This is not my board.
This is not board. But yeah, like those Phase 1 movies, they're good, but they're not great because a lot of them are setting things up. I like Captain America 1, but other than that, Thor 1 was
late,
bad.
though.
I feel like they didn't
Thor
really
1 was
think
really
about
bad, yeah.
setting things up until after Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Thor 1, the one where he like goes to the weird scientific thing in the middle of the Nevada
In the desert,
desert.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my! I completely forgot that she's the same lady that went to WandaVision.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Darcy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why? That makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because I like her as a character in like I don't know, what is it, Broke Girls?
Yes.
She's really funny in Broke Girls, and now that those two are tied together, it's not the same. Oh,
But my point is
that
that
actually ruined it for me.
Mike's just having like a midlife crisis
Oh,
right now.
that hurts.
my point is you can't forget to tell a great story.
Yeah, no,
Like Captain America's like the Winter Soldier. That's a fantastic
Oh, yeah.
story, and it does set things up, so it can be done. But they just didn't with this one, and I wonder if it was like developmental hell, where like they had to change directors, they had
I was
to
about
like
to touch on that.
they were trying to like shove in. Apparently, like Kevin Feige was probably like, "Oh, yo, the reason why Scott Derrickson had to leave was because we wanted to fit in a bunch of cameos. We wanted to do like a bunch of setup with this movie. It's like a building block, right?"
And he didn't want to do that?
The director.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Derrickson didn't want to, but then Sam Raimi came in.
I wonder.
Didn't do many cameos.
You know
not
what
gonna
I
lie.
really
No.
wonder
Yeah.
is like I really enjoyed the first half of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like first half of it, you get to see Wanda's like absolute control over reality
Totally.
in the whole orchard
That
field.
shit's
Mhm.
crazy.
Oh, I loved that
How
scene.
ridiculously overpowered she is
crazy.
Oh my
against
god.
the temple
Mhm.
and everything. And then on the last half of the movie, I'm wondering if that's when Sam Raimi came in and things just kind of started going downhill after that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's something we'll probably never know,
Yeah.
but it just feels like the first half of the movie has a completely different vibe as opposed to the last half of the movie.
I'd
say there's a switching point for sure. I don't know if it's like a completely different vibe, but like I feel like there's definitely like a point in the movie where I was like, all right, yeah, that's ass.
You kind of check out.
Yeah,
you
I'm
have,
like,
you have just like different horror elements, like when Wanda got put into the
mirror dimension.
mirror dimension,
Mhm.
then she starts using it and using the reflections and everything.
Yeah.
that shit
That was
great.
terrifying.
That was awesome.
When she was
scary.
coming out of the gong and all her bones are breaking into place.
Or like she's looking into the puddle and then like she like Scarlet Witch comes into play and then like
she
jump
was a
scares
force
left
of
and right.
nature.
Yeah, and I think that's what really works about the movie is that like it has horror elements, not too far. Like it doesn't go like
No.
absurdly like
Scary,
terrifying,
though.
like Hereditary shit, you know, like
Yeah.
but like it's creepy.
Yeah.
And I think it really, really works. There's that scene where like Wanda tries to dreamwalk into like multiversal Wanda. I'll call Scarlet Witch and Wanda. Wanda's the mom. Scarlet Witch is the one trying to be the mom.
Okay, yeah.
Scarlet Witch is trying to dreamwalk into Wanda, right? And Wanda's like walking around the kitchen, and then you see like the cup has waves in it all of a sudden,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's a picture on the wall, but then Wanda like is looking at her through the cup or like the picture. I'm like,
Yeah.
And,
This is
and the
terrifying.
and the glass creaks when it goes.
Yes.
It's like psychological.
yeah, and I was like, whoa, this is creepy, man, and
It's
I'm
fucking
digging
creepy.
it. Like
Or,
if
like-
you incorporate more of this into the MCU, sure, but
like when they were looking at the painting or like there was she was passing by the painting like followed her on the head, like
Yeah.
I like jumped a little bit. I was like,
Yeah.
that's scary as fuck.
spooky as fuck, man. But
Yeah.
then later we get a jump scare, which was, in my opinion, awful, where like they're running through the tunnels. And
Are we
then-
talking about this
yes,
goddamn
let's
blast
talk
door?
about the blast
Let's talk
door.
about the
Oh
tunnel.
my god.
Holy shit, that was bad. Because like she's destroying and I mean, fair play again.
She's scary, man.
When I
obviously.
say yes,
She just beat
She just-
Captain Marvel and the entire Illuminati. You think a couple blast doors are going to stop
She
her?
just
Yeah.
mucked the entire bin of the entirety of like Doctor Strange Temple.
She blows up 3 blast doors back to back to back. This
And we
fourth
see it.
one comes down, and we're like,
Oh, let's stop
what's
running.
different about this one?
nothing.
2 minutes of zooming up. on
She's
people's
limping,
faces.
bro.
Yeah.
And she
Doctor
was
Strange is
gaining.
full Tom Cruise,
Oh my
and she's
God.
gaining on him.
She's limping and gaining on all. Granted,
she can fly.
She looked terrifying.
Terrifying,
With,
man.
like,
She's got oil on her
Yeah.
face from the robots and
Which
shit.
looks like blood.
Very much looks like blood,
Like,
but you
and
can't
sh-
show that.
She just murdered the entire Illuminati except for
That's
Mordo.
okay. The death scenes for the Illuminati were crazy.
Bro,
Oh,
starting it off with Black Bolt, just getting
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
where's your mouth? And then he blows up the back
Look
half
at
of his
his head.
fucking
But it doesn't
skull.
like go out. It stays all
Yeah.
contained, so you know it's just a blender in there of
sitting
bone
there,
and
I'm
brain
like,
matter.
this is fucking intense.
This
Like,
dude's
let's go.
head just became like a deflated balloon.
Like
Yeah.
that's one of like the darkest things I've seen out of Marvel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that really set the tone. And it was great. But then, I don't know.
Reed Richards getting spaghetti
Well,
fied.
fucking Reed Richards. is
That
like,
was
oh, I'm going to stop
dumb.
Wanda with my stretchy arm.
Just
Yeah.
does one
He
like
becomes
he does
spaghetti.
like one
Super
shitty
smart
super
guy.
punch. and
Yeah.
just-
Super smart guy.
Come on, John.
Stupidest
buddy.
move ever.
Jimbo. But like, and then his head pops at the end. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
He punched like an 8-year-old in karate training too. Like, yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
I thought it was really cool that like the
Dead.
Ultron project worked in this dimension.
Yeah.
and Reed's made it this time,
Yeah.
even though they're garbage.
Yeah, did not do anything.
No, at least they're hitting shots. I mean,
Yeah.
So,
And even like that was a cool touch where like she's fucking up the Ultron bots and it's like, oh, this is like Age of Ultron when she fucks up the Ultron bots, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, there's not enough in this movie to make me feel by the end of it feel like that was cool. I need to see that again. You know,
I just can't believe that they have the scene of the Illuminati getting murked, and then right after that they have this unknown tunnel scene
yeah.
that has no real
man, what the fuck was that tunnel?
idea of what's going on.
yeah, we didn't even finish that blast door.
No.
And then she doesn't walk. She didn't blow up the blast door. She just slides in from stage left.
Just like there wasn't a wall there or anything.
Yeah, right.
Granted, it was like
No
a jump
di-
scare.
No doors open. No nothing.
at
It
the
was
same
a jump
point-
scare, but it was really bad because, like, we're sitting there and we can tell it's going to happen. We can tell it's going to be a jump scare because we zoom in on every character's face 6 times.
You know what
The
would have been,
Chavez scream was pretty good though.
Yeah.
that was really good.
you know what would have been better is if she didn't slide in from stage left. it kept going back and forth between the characters. It goes on the blast door, and then when it goes back to the characters,
She's standing behind
she's
him.
just standing behind
Absolutely no.
them. That would have
sick.
been
Like,
so much better.
Like a sinister vibe, like when they're at the kitchen table. You remember
Yeah.
that scene?
Well, we already know she can
Like
do
pans
this
over to
because
like the
like
demons behind him and shit.
because like at the temple, she's like whispering into this guy's ear, and she appears behind them and
Yeah.
starts saying stuff.
Would have been so cool. And I genuinely thought that was what it was going to happen.
That's what I entirely expected to happen, but no. Then she just slides in on her skateboard.
Whoa.
Yo.
My multiversal
You can-
skateboard, bro, shredding the gnar.
You could tell that was all like CGI or like effects of them just like slowly moving like that shadow.
I feel like they like recorded it for real. Like and she is just on a skateboard, and they
put
just
him on
sped up the
dolly.
film.
Yeah.
Just imagine that filming process. It's just Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and then like
Moving with the
fucking
skateboard.
the entire Illuminati tries to beat Wanda, and they
Kicks their
die,
shit in.
and then she gets stopped by water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a little H2O can go a long
Oh,
way. I
yeah.
guess.
We still got to talk
Goes
about
a long
Moon Knight.
way.
I know. We're gonna move on to that,
Yeah.
but like I just want to end Doctor Strange with like. I thought it was fine. It's not a movie I ever intend to watch again, to be honest.
Some good visuals.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't mad I watched it.
Cool ideas, the idea of
there
like
was a lot of-
dreaming is a
yeah.
different multiverse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creative things.
Totally.
Um,
But bad story.
like Mike said, it has good individual scenes,
Mm-hmm.
but they're tied together very poorly.
Yeah.
Very poorly.
I think that sums up
Yeah,
Doctor
like
Strange in a great way. How you
what
put that?
they've done in this movie is like nothing we've ever seen out of the MCU.
Yeah, and they put a
Like
little more
they've
in terms
never
of
done
art.
horror. They've never done gore like this. They've
Mm.
never done. Have they? Yeah, I guess they've done CGI to this level,
Yeah,
but
and
they've never been so gruesome.
There's something deeply
However-
unsettling about
yeah.
gruesomeness at this like quality of film and
Yeah,
CGI though,
totally.
for sure.
It's very
Well, I
upsetting.
think when you make things super gruesome like this, it further helps like us to gain an idea of the motivations of the character and what lengths they're willing to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and just finish my point. Where was I? Uh-oh.
But
But every
yeah.
MCU movie adds something to the plot. Like
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
20 plus movies, something has always been increased or stakes raised, or we get more character development.
we'll sprinkle.
We could have missed this movie and nothing changes.
That's how I feel right
Other
now.
than we don't have Scarlet Witch.
Well, to an extent, like we do now have the Illuminati. Granted, they're dead in this universe, but we know of their existence now. The Darkhold's been destroyed, but part of the energy still lives on Doctor Strange in that disgusting third eye.
Oh, that's the Eye of Agamotto. It's not the Dark Hold. It's like he's
No,
all-knowing,
that's-
isn't it?
No. That is the lasting effects of the Darkhold. The Eye of Agamotto, I believe,
is
was
the thing on his chest.
thing that
Is
held
that
the
in
Time
his
Stone.
chest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have, what's her name? The niece of Dormammu.
Who I did not even pick up was Charlize Theron.
No.
No.
I was just watching it and I was just like, what the fuck is this?
I was so scared from that scene because like the CG in that scene alone reminds me way too much of like
A CW
Flash.
show. Yeah.
Space Jam.
yeah,
Space
it was like it felt like it was just like a copy pasted element that was
Down it
added
wrong.
into the thing,
Yeah.
and they just kind of rotoscoped the girl out in front.
However,
Oh.
Clea, that character is the current Doctor Strange in the comics, which is kind of cool.
Cool
She
cool
is
potential,
also-
but like
Yeah.
Sorcerer Supreme.
I
They're gonna try to write Cumberbatch out soon.
hope not.
Oh,
I think he's
God,
doing
no.
a great job.
He's doing amazing.
Yeah.
I hated that mainly because I hated the ending of this film because it just happens. Like, because he fixes his watch and he goes out on the street and like dum dum dum, and then all of a sudden he starts screaming and his third eye opens, and I'm just like, and then it just cuts to black. I'm like, what the what?
One thing about that scene is there was a like street performer.
It's like the end of a shitty horror movie.
Yeah, right.
there was a street performer that was playing music, and
Okay.
I think that was kind of something that for some reason decided to trigger the whole Darkhold thing because that's 'cause
Really?
they had that whole music fight in the other one. So I'm wondering
We
if
didn't even
that
talk
if that
about
was
the
like their
music fight.
explanation,
Nah.
like oh this music is now triggering this dark because like the music from that street performer was very loud to not be something that they wanted you to like pick up on.
That's interesting. But I didn't pick up on it because I thought
No, it was
I
still
was
very
distracted by
subtle.
the fucking disgusting eye.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we end off on that. I'm like, okay, you know what? That does leave Doctor Strange in a somewhat like dangerous situation for the future. You know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
gonna have to deal with the fact that now he's fucked up. and like he did something terrible, and he's gonna have lasting ramifications
Yeah,
of it,
like
right?
he took a lot of hit finishing this movie and like
Exactly.
finishing this plot.
Exactly. But then 5 minutes later, we see him in the most rushed thing I've ever seen in my fucking life,
Oh yeah.
where I don't even remember how it goes. Charlize Theron just shows up, right?
Just behind him. Yeah, he's just walking with a scarf on.
Right. Again,
Yeah.
typical Doctor Strange. Always walking around with his scarf on.
Yeah, well, he's got to have something red for the
Oh, for this
robe.
cape.
Yeah.
I think he like transmutes it or whatever into
Yeah.
something else less conspicuous.
She shows up. She's like, "Hey, yo, hey, you fucked up. We gotta go."
In the most elaborate uniform I've seen in Marvel yet.
Yeah, very purple. I like that.
Very.
But she like shows up and she's like, "You gotta come with me." Doctor Strange is like, "All right, I gotta go with you." Opens his third eye. She fucking rips through reality somehow, and then that's it. I'm like,
What?
Huh?
what?
Like, yo?
Doctor Strange has never met this woman in his entire life. He's
What, you're a
already
little
gained
scared?
control over his third eye by the post-credit scene. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Oh,
It might have been a few months later, though.
It could have.
yeah,
But we
that's
it
why
could
it
have been,
was
but
a
it
scarf.
wasn't clear.
we have no sense of time though.
Yeah.
No, the only difference is he changed his clothes.
Yeah.
Like he's in wintry clothes in the scene after compared
I
to whatever
guess,
the fuck he
yeah.
was before.
I guess.
It's such a
Again, not properly elaborated on.
Very poorly done,
Super
and you
poorly
have to
done.
like, yeah.
And again, this might be cool in like 3.
It's gonna be a cult classic.
It's gonna be great in 6 movies
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
gonna be a
gonna
cult
guarantee
classic,
that right now.
guaranteed.
That scene is gonna be dope later.
This is going to be the
This is the Iron Man 2 of Phase 4.
yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
If they change
It's
that eye,
entertaining, but
yeah.
it's not great.
if they change that eye to how it's supposed to look, how I seen it in the comics, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
look a lot cooler.
It looks a
'Cause
lot
in the-
bigger. It takes up like his entire
Yeah, it's
forehead.
like the eye of Sauron, like
Mm.
from Lord of the Rings,
That'd be cool.
on his head, which is way cooler.
Yeah, don't take like a screen
better
cap
be
of his
gone.
eye and then
And
just
then just
mirror
fucking
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
not much budget left for that eyeball. That's for sure. However, we need to get moving to Moon Knight.
Yeah, let's talk
this is
about Moon Knight.
another conversation that might take a little while.
Yeah, that was our thoughts on Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. However, leading into Doctor Strange, we had the finale of Moon Knight,
We
a
did have
6-week ordeal that we went through. Not ordeal. Noah, I want you to start. What do you think of Moon Knight?
So I know a lot of people didn't enjoy the final episode.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the final episode solely because I am an absolute sucker for action.
Hell yeah.
And
Schmucker.
goddamn
Schmuckers.
was that episode filled with it.
That shit
There was
butt-ass.
so little talking in that.
Yeah.
It was just combat nonstop.
Yeah.
But that did not save it from the little things that keep popping up. They covered so much
Oh my
in
God,
such a
we
short amount of time.
outrageous in that time.
Zoomed.
My biggest takeaway from it is the best thing that they could have done for this like series
Mhm.
was add another episode.
Or another season, man.
Another episode would have been amazing.
Yeah, another episode just to like tie everything up, and then you
Mhm.
can put all your action into the final thing. Because we have no issue having episodes that fully focus on character development,
No,
No.
not at all. The characters are great.
Yeah.
and like having a whole episode of Mark and why is the name escape Steven, like just coming together and like
Coming to terms.
coming to terms with everything
Mhm.
would have done it wonders.
Yep.
Even if it like set up perfectly for the next scene to be like the big fight scene
You
at the
could've-
finale of the episode.
Yeah, you could have had Mark and Steven getting together. You
'Cause,
could have
like,
had
I would love to see more Mark and Steven combo in Moon Knight. I
Totally.
loved when he was switching back and forth mid conversation. That shit was cool as
Yeah, it's
fuck.
fucking
Yeah.
rad.
And I saw it for like 30 seconds. I was like, I could have gone a whole episode with that.
you could have had the whole Layla and Neretti.
Tayward? What are you trying
Tower
to say?
Red?
Towerette,
Towerette, yeah. You could have had that whole thing get established in the episode before, so that we could have
Yeah.
had the payoff in the final episode.
That I wish
Should have just like showed
that
up.
was happened like an episode or two ago.
Yeah.
because that was some dope scenes.
It was
I think
It's
that's
a cool
could've gone-
costume.
I think you're right though. Like,
Oh my
like-
God, such a cool costume.
because
Right.
like the hippo, as far as I know,
Tayward.
Tayward. I'm gonna
Tayward?
I'm gonna
Tayward?
keep, I'm gonna keep forgetting.
Hippopotamus.
It seems like they don't have a whole lot of experience inhabiting an avatar, so like you could have had like them working through like training wheels and
Mhm.
stuff in like an episode before, and then
Like Avatar, the movie.
like Avatar the
Mm,
movie. But yeah,
But no.
ultimately the entire series as a whole, I still loved it.
great.
I thought it was great. I can't wait to see Moon Knight again. I can't wait to see more of Jake.
Jake
Lockley.
Yep.
Jake Lockley. I can't wait to see more of that.
Sure.
And Khonshu. I love Khonshu.
Yeah, I like Khonshu.
He was great. He may be a manipulative fuck, but
That's great. That's a cool character.
that's exactly what we need.
I want to go to Mike next. What do you think of Moon Knight as a whole?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Where would I rate it? About the same spot as when the Captain America TV series.
Okay. Yeah.
They did a really good job of character development again and laying the foundation for people to understand like Steven and Mark dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think the best takeaway is how well the CGI was for how much it was on the screen.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with like Khonshu and all the other gods. Because like with most CGI, they get away with doing like a 3 seconds and they cut away really quick, like with the jackals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Khonshu, he's got like full like 3-minute dialogue where he's asked to be on the screen.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a full CG character.
So
The
even
fucking like moving the stars scene.
Yeah,
He was on
right?
there for a long. Yeah.
or like in the suit, that didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Like
the
everything
changes
was pretty
between
good.
the suits
Yeah.
were even done really well.
Mhm.
So I think that's the best part, like video wise, plot wise. Steven and Mark were really, really good, and I really enjoy Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that last episode went really quick, and I wish we just had Jake Lockley in there more instead of just being a cutaway.
Something
Like an out.
And I wish we had I assume her superhero name's the Scarab because that's what it looked like.
The
Red
Scarlet
Scarab.
Scarab.
The Scarlet Scarab.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, I wish we had her
I
in
believe-
that form way earlier.
I believe in the comic book she's actually a villain, the Scarlet Scarab.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And we were talking about this before, but they need to get some goons that don't shoot at shields. But other than that, yeah, I fully enjoyed it, and it's probably like 8.5
Shoot her
or 8.
fucking ankles. Brad, what'd you think of Moon Knight as a whole?
I enjoyed it. I can't say I didn't enjoy the first 5 episodes like a lot. I thought the ideas were great. I thought the CGI was obviously great, and some of the visuals were just awesome. But I feel like just the whole wrapping it up, I just feel like I was hung dry, man. I just feel like there was so much that could have been like built up to great ways, and they did so much to build it up there, and then it was just like times 10 fast forward button through the last episode.
Totally.
It was like they just had to stuff all of this great content they writ into this tiny little thing that was just not enough space for them to like develop their ideas properly.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think it was pretty good.
I
I
wonder-
really liked how the dealing with the split personalities again was just super cool to me, and
Yeah.
those ideas were just super dope.
Totally.
I wonder if it's a Disney Plus episode scheduling thing. Like, I wonder if they're like, they have these big ideas, and then they go up to Disney like, yeah, 6 episodes. Let's make it happen. They're like, this is like an 8-episode thing, man.
It definitely should have been
Because they've done 8 episodes before.
Yep.
I could
And
see
we had no
episodes.
issues,
Mhm.
and all of this, and this feels like it was paced for 8 episodes for
Well,
sure.
How many
And then they
episodes
were-
was Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I can't remember,
8.
but I think it was probably 8.
Because we had really good pacing on that.
WandaVision was also.
WandaVision had a bit more just because the first
Yeah.
2 episodes were like 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, because you had
3,
you had to develop a theme of it.
Yeah.
And
Whereas-
Loki was
I think Loki was only 6.
6.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Yeah, double check all those.
This definitely felt like it should have been 8 episodes,
Mhm.
and
And I would have watched. I would have
watched.
watched it for 8 episodes.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
that's a rare
absolutely.
thing with Marvel shows too. Is that like we leave the season and we're like that should have been more because typically with a lot of the Marvel shows should have been a lot less.
Yeah.
I remember the Marvel Defenders, like on Netflix. Those were 13 episode seasons. Those were bad. Like they did not need to be that long. Moon Knight for me is half of a good show or a great show. Sorry. It's half great, half good.
I like
I
how
think
you put that.
the first episode is fantastic. I think it is one of the best pieces of Marvel shows that we've gotten so far.
First episode was unreal.
So good because we're kept in suspense and we're kept in like what is going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the MCU really excels is like the mystery aspect of like what is going on.
Yeah.
WandaVision, what was going on in the Hex? Like what was going on? We were trying to figure it out the
Why
entire
is
time.
everything black and white?
Exactly. And like who's that voice over the radio and shit like that, you know? So by the end of episode 1, I am floored out of my mind when Moon Knight is beating the fuck out of that jackal in the bathroom. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go. This is going to sustain
You're
me.
fucking sick, yeah.
Episode 2 was good because I liked it because we got Mr. Knight. We got the guy in the suit. You know, that was really, really fun. And we got some answers, like, pretty immediately. I was like, okay, cool. We're moving. Like, this pod is moving. Episode 3 was not that great in my opinion, except for the stars moving.
Stars moving was the coolest scene in the show, in my opinion.
Is that
That's
really
dope.
only episode 3?
That was the end of episode 3, man. Like, we were zooming. Episode 4 was pretty good because we got the cool, like, Tomb Raider thing, except...
It was fully backstory. Episode 4 was mostly backstory, no?
No, that was 5.
That was 5, okay.
Yeah, because 5 is my favorite episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say 5
5
was probably the best.
5
episode.
somehow beat episode 1 for me in terms of, like, that is the most emotional I've ever been watching
People like
these Marvel
being
shows.
Like psychologically, like challenged.
Yeah.
I like to think sometimes when I watch a movie.
Totally.
Like,
But-
yeah, what's going on here?
And then episode 6 was, in my opinion, a dumpster fire. Like,
yeah.
it just zoomed for some fucking reason. And they had so much they had to wrap up, and they were like, all right, we're just going to do it. And then Harrow fucking enters the temple, or like the pyramid, and he beats all the gods, but we can't see it because they ran out of budget, I guess, or they didn't have time to show it. So we cut to Layla looking at statues for like 5 minutes. I'm like, what are we doing here, guys?
You know, I think what I hated the most about the last episode is they built up an amazing villain to release Amit and all this stuff like that. And their finale for him getting beat was a black screen that we didn't even get to watch.
Yes.
He just
I
like
want to say this when you were giving your thoughts about Jake and how you're excited that we're going to see Jake, right? How much more impactful would it have been had we, you know, Mark is on the ground, he is struggling. Harrow's got the upper hand. We get the blackout, but we see it.
yeah.
Had we seen that, and
You know
had
what?
we seen Jake fuck everybody up somehow, how much cooler would that have been and like terrifying to us? Being like, that's not Mark and that is not Steven. Like,
Well,
like
holy
seeing
fuck.
seeing the fear and like the main, why do I forget his name?
And we could have seen it
Hero,
from
yeah.
Layla's
Yeah, Hero's-
perspective, and
yeah.
that would have been even cool, like more scary.
Because
You know
she
what,
like I
I'll
wish it
give
was like
them this.
her being scared of like Mark and
Exactly.
Steven because he's like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just violently murdering everyone.
Yeah,
But no, it's just a blackout and there's dead bodies everywhere. It's like,
You know
oh,
what?
cool.
I'll give them this
Sick.
because like that scene, he blacks out as Harrow is on top of him with like his whole staff jamming into his
Yeah.
that
chest.
sounds like a bad.
Anyways, his face is uncovered. What would have been cool is if we saw his eyes roll roll back, and then we could have seen Jake's
Facial expressions. Like
Jake.
his,
No,
yeah.
Jake's uniform, because his uniform is essentially Moon Knight, except instead of white wrapping, it's like pitch black
Oh,
and just the eyes. So if we had seen that, we saw like his whole face just went black. He had the hood and cowl over top of him. Then we just saw the white eyes open up, and then you just heard like a single punch, and then the whole thing blacked out. I would have been fine with that.
would have been great with
Like,
that,
sick. But no.
but no.
But no, we just saw blackout, and Harrow is now on the ground.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
look at
such
you.
a like
Oh.
because we were zooming through the plot for this episode. They were like, "How are we going to defeat Harrow?" I don't know. Like,
Just do.
he just does.
He
Jake.
just does it.
Yeah.
Or you know, we
What a
could
cop-out,
have
yeah.
seen like a blackout, and then like they're locked in a stalemate with like the batons or something.
Yeah.
And then Harrow's confused, like, "How did you do that?"
Yeah.
And then we black out again, and
Sure.
we just keep coming
Coming
in
in and out, yeah, and like
And we
more
see-
bodies are on the ground, more
We
like
see
you
more
know.
bodies on the ground. We see Harrow getting increasingly more and more like distressed with
Yeah.
how he's losing
Yeah.
slowly.
That yes, absolutely no. Like
So underdone for that scene. For
Yeah.
all this build up for this amazing villain that I really like the villain
me
in
too.
Moon Knight.
We
He
start
was
with
sick.
him fucking stepping on glass in his sandals. I'm like, holy shit, this is a
This-
cool ass villain.
like, this
he
guy's
used to be an
crazy.
avatar for Khonshu. That's a really cool element.
And we
Yeah.
didn't get the payoff on the glass until the very end.
Did we? Did
I
we
don't
ever get a
remember
When
payoff?
his
Yeah, I
feet
think
start
it is.
bleeding in the psych ward.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Oh.
Oh, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Oh, I
Like-
thought he was just like wounded from the fight.
I was like, why are there just bloody
Yeah.
footprints right now?
It's from the glass.
That makes sense. But
The
no.
glass.
So overall, again, I have this problem with things where I think it's a bad thing if it doesn't end very well. But looking back on it, Moon Knight had some great moments and like genuinely great episodes. I think episode 1 and 5 are standouts.
Really good,
Some of
yeah.
episode 4 was great. but I think a lot of it didn't work for me. The great moments, but you're not giving me great television. Do you remember when Layla beat a truck with a flare? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I was just sitting there. I'm like, who made this action sequence? Because it's not good. Like, but then you get some great moments. But I think as a whole, I don't think the project was amazing. And I was so excited for this show, but I came out of it and I was like, man. Even though you gave me, I was fucking crying in episode 5 hard because that shit was hurtful to watch. But like, even though you gave me that, once again, like Doctor Strange, you didn't give me a satisfying story at the end of the day.
No, it was like just went through for nothing.
Yeah.
I felt like.
Do you remember forgettable villain in episode 3? Like at the weird like horse arena. Do you remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Midnight Man.
Just randomly shows up, had like some
His sex
relationship
appeal.
with
That
Layla.
shit was
They had
bad.
to kill him though because
Yeah.
they can't exactly use him
I
anymore.
know. Well, he didn't die. He rode off. But yeah, stupid. Yeah.
You know what? All
Please.
things considered, Oscar Isaac did an amazing job.
I love Oscar Isaac.
His
Actually.
just
We
acting is
here
really good.
all love
Yes.
Oscar Isaac.
His ability
Fantastic.
to
Yeah.
just on a dime switch.
Yes.
And I want to point out one scene I saw that in season 6 when he's talking to Khonshu on the sand
Episode,
dune.
yeah.
Like he switches suits and his body language completely changes. Like even the way he sits down, I was like, that's really impressive.
Love it.
Like
Yeah.
that's really impressive to be able to act that out. And obviously it was him, like just like CGI'd the suit on, so it was still Oscar Isaac, I would assume.
Especially in episode 5 where like he's standing outside his mom's funeral and he doesn't want to go in and then like to hide himself from that pain he switches to Steven. And then that's the moment where Steven kind of just takes over
And Steven's
like
just like, where the fuck am I?
yeah, and like Mark can't get out anymore because he wants to stay burrowed so hard.
Just him hiding, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really effective, but we kind of lose sight of that in the end, and that sucks.
It
You know,
was like all this beautiful backstory and then just nothing with it.
yeah. I think that's something that like it seems like the Marvel formula for these TV shows is to have a very emotional episode 5, and then the finale is an action packed.
Yeah.
And I don't think it always works. WandaVision, I felt worked. Some people didn't like the end of WandaVision, but I liked it a lot. Falcon and the Winter Soldier did not, except for there was an emotional beat that got me really hard. Not really hard, but you know what I mean.
It hit.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember.
One thing I'm worried about for the future of Moon Knight
Mm.
is when we see him with other heroes, will his multiple personalities make him so much of a focal point that it takes away from other heroes?
I don't think so.
'Cause
I think
I
the
just-
Jake thing is going to be unresolved, which might be tricky, but
Because like I'm just trying to think like if they're all going to be like in a meeting and stuff, everybody when they're all in a meeting, everybody is just a human.
Yeah.
But Mark and Steven are going to be swapping between each other, and people are going to be like always drawn to that.
I think in the hands. No, I mean I liked the directors on this one, but I didn't love them either. Because it was like 2 different directors doing this series, but like 3 because one was a tag team duo. But in the hands of a better director, like if we get a Spider-Man movie and Moon Knight shows up for some reason,
Absolutely. I want to
Absolutely.
see that so badly.
if John Watts gets his hands on Moon Knight, then sure, you know. But like, I don't know.
Moon Knight's gonna be the dopest cameo character.
Absolutely, when Moon Knight shows
be
back
sick.
up again,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pumped. However,
hyped, yeah.
I don't know if I want a season 2.
I don't think there is.
What are they gonna do for season 2? Or
I think that's why
if they just-
Resolve Jake, I think.
I think that's why the last episode was so rushed because I don't think they have him
I'm-
signed for a season
I'm
2.
pissed.
They don't.
I'm
Yeah.
pissed they just released Mark and Steven.
Well, that was the thing. Like Khonshu, when they were renegotiating their deal,
Mhm.
once they got out of Amit's tomb, Khonshu said, "Fine, I'll release both of you."
And
Not
forgot
all
about
of you.
Jake Lockley.
No, not all of you. So that left him just enough leeway that he could still maintain control over Jake,
Because he's an asshole.
whereas he can
Because can't you?
like convey that he's out of Mark and Steven's life.
But yeah, we build up like they build Steven and Mark up to have this cool dynamic where it's like switching suits and everything. We're never gonna see that again because they got released. So even in the cameos, you're gonna be seeing Jake Lockley.
Oh, great point, Mike.
So all this cool like thoughts we have, no, it's gonna be Jake Lockley. It's not gonna
Because
be
they won't have
Mark
the Moon
and-
Knight suit.
Yeah.
Because oh,
There's
He's
gonna
from
be
Khonshu.
something. There's gonna be
They
something
have to, but
where
yeah.
where Mark and Steven are gonna start realizing like, hey, we're still like, we went to bed on Monday. It is now Friday. they obviously know that there's somebody.
My goldfish is once again gone.
My goldfish is fucking dead again.
But no season 2. So
but
where are they
know-
going to add that?
But the thing is that they know that there's a third personality. They do, because there's been multiple scenes where they're just like, that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
So they recognize that there's a third personality. There's going to be something where they're going to have to come to terms with it, try to.
I'm so interested in how they
Come to
address
terms.
Jake, because I thought the explanation for why Mark created Steven was fantastic. I thought that was a really emotional gut punch of a reasoning behind it. Where does Jake come in?
Where the fuck is Jake from?
No idea.
When did he come in?
I thought Jake would have come in from Mark's kind of like mercenary days. I thought Jake was made when he had to go and kill Layla's dad or something.
Yeah.
But
Well,
no,
that's
we see that in
Episode 5.
Mark's memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's clearly not that.
Oh, that could have been the first moment, because I don't think does he remember?
He said he didn't
Yes.
remember. He just didn't he say that in
He
the
said his
movie?
partner killed Layla's dad,
Yeah.
but he was
doesn't-
with his partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but did
And
he
then
have a
things
partner?
went south.
Oh, yeah, he
And
did.
then didn't he
'cause
say he just
his
like
partner
blacked
shot
out?
him,
with
I
it?
believe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So maybe. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that wasn't when Jake came out.
Yeah.
But I'm just hypothesizing that the same way that Steven tries to hide
Mhm.
for when something really bad and emotional happens, Jake is when he has to do something he really doesn't want to do but has to do.
Oh, okay.
So like maybe
that
in
primal
yeah. So that's what made me think like in that moment where he had to kill Layla's dad, he switched to Jake, so he didn't have to remember that. So it's
That'd be
the
interesting.
same
That's
way,
possible.
same way that Steve protects Mark, then Jake would protect Mark from like all this terrible
From the
things
really,
he's done.
like
Mhm.
war
really,
crimey
really,
things,
really bad stuff.
Geneva violating things.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense when he kills the followers on the roof.
Mhm.
And then it also makes sense when he had to just murk all those people in the city and had to do the same thing in the final episode.
Yeah. That was my thing. Like, I think what really, really worked about like episode 1, where like we get those blackouts and we assume it was Mark, rather than Steven.
Yeah.
But like looking back on it now, it's like, oh fuck, that was probably Jake. That was probably Jake
Yeah.
that like murdered those people with that
Yeah.
scarab in his hand.
Well, a lot of those things, like when they were in like the psych ward, Mark was remembering everybody that he killed.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had the exact days, he had exact places.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, he was
kind of blurs the lines as to when does Jake come out to do the things that Mark doesn't want to, because Mark clearly has no issues killing people.
No.
He's done it before.
He does have a conscience though.
Yeah.
Like he does have like a moral compass.
So like what is the breaking point that brings Jake out to do stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And what situations does Mark get himself into where he needs that protection?
Well, there is a scene when he is looking at all the dead bodies, we're counting all the days, like, how do you remember all of this? It's like, you've never taken a human life, or
Yeah.
something like that. It's like, obviously,
Take a
Mark
human
could-
life and see how long it takes for you to forget.
Again, episode 5, masterclass in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that's
Loved
probably
it.
So good.
that was very up there with any of the other shows.
Mhm.
Even like the lots of the Loki episodes.
Oh,
feel like-
remember episode
Yeah.
1 of Loki?
Oh,
And the
Remember Loki in general? Man,
Loki was
so
good.
good.
that was a great show.
and the cliffhanger indie episode 5 was really good.
Yes.
It was just like, Hippo. I was like, oh
Yep.
shit.
Oh, that was episode 4.
I feel like what
episode 4
would
was
have
just like
been
at the end.
really cool is if either in episode 5 or episode 6, when they were still kind of like in the psych ward a little bit,
Mhm.
if they went to some memories and they both didn't remember them.
Yeah.
That could have been
Jake
Yeah.
was such this high suspense that just got,
I think
Everybody already
Me-
knows that who
Just
Jake is.
straight blue
and they
balls.
did not give a payoff for Jake, and they did not give a payoff for the final fight.
it was important that we focused on only Steven and Mark in this season. Just because, like, by the end of it, I love Steven and I love Mark. I didn't like Mark at the beginning, where, like, episode 3, we got a lot more of Mark than Steven,
Dick.
and he just sucked. But then by episode 5, we realized he's the original. He created Steven for very tragic reasons.
Well, and you understand why he's a dick.
Yes. And had we started with Mark, this show would have sucked.
Yeah.
But since we started with Steven, he's such a weirdo, and
Fucking
we kind of
loved
love
the
him.
first
We
episode.
started with a wimp.
Yeah, and we love him. He's
Yeah.
great. And by the time we get to the end, or like episode 5, where we realize he's not the original, then we're like, oh, but we still love our boy Steven.
Oh shit,
you know?
Steven definitely is fired.
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even
Oh,
think about
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
He was
didn't think
he was
about that.
already fired.
He was gone for like ever.
Yeah.
This Sorry, Chief.
But yeah, no,
Missed,
it
like
would
2
have
weeks work.
it would have been a lot worse had we started with Mark being like this rough and tumbled, manly, like mercenary guy,
Yeah.
and then we find this alternate
Little wimp.
identity who's just a fucking pushover.
Yeah.
Like people would not have liked Steven nearly as much.
And given that we only had 6 episodes, I don't think it would have made sense to try and split everything between 3 different characters. I think that was a good call to stick on 2.
Yeah.
But I think you could have teased Jake a lot better right by the end of it.
Oh yeah.
They did a really good job in episode 5 where you had like the different mannerisms and everything when he was talking to Pharaoh.
Or
Yeah.
even the other coffin. And in the intro,
That was
in,
really
in
good.
the intro of 6, it was like not all is revealed or some shit like
Yeah,
that, and then it
totally.
was just like a video of the coffin that was still there. It's like
The credits have a lot of 3 themes in it.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, I loved the credits in this, by
Yeah.
the way.
you see
the-
like
the
3 different.
graphics.
You see like the 3 faces coming out of the actual like. They basically have the head of Mark,
And then
and then
3
like
different.
the faces are all cut out, kind of like in a domino order,
Mhm.
and you see 3 of them. You don't just see 2.
So overall, like, honestly, talking about it more with you guys, I think I'm a little higher on the show than I came out of it. But honestly, like, it was like with Hawkeye with me. Do you remember when like we watched the last episode of Hawkeye, and like I was so hyped, and then I came out of that episode and like this is one of the worst projects I've seen.
yeah, like everything was great up until the last episode.
And
If
I think
took
you
out the 6th
need to
episode
stick
for me,
the landing,
yeah,
man.
you
That's
do
my
They haven't
thing.
stick
stuck a
landing.
landing in any of these shows for like the last couple of them.
Yeah, like
I
Moon
mean-
Knight was pretty like did not have a great ending.
No.
Hawkeye, in my opinion, did not have a great ending.
Terrible.
What If just wasn't good.
Apparently, Hawkeye was still one of the highest grossing Marvel like TV shows yet.
What do you mean highest grossing?
Like they had a bunch of revenue numbers and everything.
Oh, really?
And Hawkeye was the highest.
Very low. Pretty low budget. No CGI.
No,
so.
not a lot of CGI.
That's true.
I think that WandaVision had a fantastic ending, in my opinion. Like emotionally gut punching. Loki, a lot of people were like, "There's a lot of talking in this." I thought it was cool as talking. Like we were
Loki
discussing
was one
some
of
dope
the-
shit.
Loki is one of the cornerstones of Phase 4.
Yeah,
Oh,
And I can't-
absolutely.
it's
yeah.
that's the thing. Coming out of Loki, I'm pumped for Loki season 2. Coming out of Moon Knight, I'm not sure if I'm pumped for it. For
I
season
feel
2.
like it's gonna do. I feel like it's gonna do Moon Knight a lot of favors when we get like the fucking Black Knight guy.
Black
from
Knight.
Eternals.
Yeah, if we get Midnight Suns, hell yeah, dude, I'm in.
That's gonna be really good
I'm in.
because I feel like they do a lot of sketchy stuff, and we're gonna see a lot more Jake.
Hell yeah.
I just feel blue balled.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm right there with you, Brad.
I was like, episode 5 was great, and then I just got jerked right to the edge, left, just left,
Jesus.
just nothing.
This show teases and teases Jake Lockley and like this big fight between Harrow. Harrow gets his staff. He's at like full power.
Do you remember the
and then they like now you don't get to see the final fight with Harrow. You don't see
I
it.
think that's the biggest
and you
thing.
and
that
you don't
lost
see
it.
Jake Lockley till the end. The only payoff we get is fucking Steven kicking some ass.
Yeah,
Which
and
and
Steven
was
King's ass
dope.
was
Like,
gas.
dope,
was
but
really
makes
cool.
no sense.
I want to be yelling like that the whole time, though. That whole episode was so set
Totally.
up to be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Because when
And the
Steven was doing
switches.
backflips, me and Mike
Yeah,
were
like,
sitting there
what
like,
the
let's
heck?
go,
And then we keep
Steven.
going back between that dope fight and when the giant fucking kaiju
CGI
Amit versus.
bullshit,
Oh,
yeah.
I hated that.
love giant monster
I
fights.
hated that though, because
you give me Pacific Rim.
it could have been so much cooler, Noah, if we'd seen their powers or something. But it turns
Just
into them
hand-to-hand
just fucking
combat.
punching each other very slowly.
Yeah, it would have been cool to
I'm
see
like,
some energy.
Yeah, man, because we see some energy when they're fighting in the temple.
That
But,
shit
like,
was sick.
when he's doing like
That shit
shadow
was
steps
so
to get around her
dope.
and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That.
fuck yeah. Why don't you do that in giant form? Because like that
Yeah.
shit sucked.
It would have been cool to like see Khonshu throwing a haymaker, and then right as like Amit's about to block it, he like
Slips it.
turns-
Yeah,
Yeah.
slips it and
slips
throws it from
behind
angle.
and then like
yeah.
clocks her from behind.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there watching it with Beth, and all of a sudden I'm like, he's got a bird fucking skull for a face. Just fucking crack it a little. Like he's not invincible.
Shit's outrageous. But
Ugh. Anyway,
Ultimately,
ultimately, it's a
It was a
good
good- it's a
show.
good
it was
show.
a good show.
it's a
Worth
good show.
watching.
Last episode, no.
No.
But everything else, unreal.
One of the
Great.
most disappointing endings.
I would say
Yeah.
it was better than Falcon and Winter Soldier.
There was
Ooh.
If Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me is the baseline TV show in so far,
Mhm.
this is tough.
I know.
The way I put it is Falcon and the Winter
I have to
Soldier.
think about it more.
didn't
It's
make
close.
Didn't make me almost tear up for a character.
the character development was so
Oh, I was
great.
crying.
I
in
really
Falcon.
love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I like it more than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Character development. I like Oscar Isaac and that character much more than the other two.
Mhm.
Didn't care for Bucky. I do like where Captain America was going.
Yep.
But
I think the Flag Smashers really bring down Falcon and the Winter
yeah,
Soldier.
I think not to get too much into that show. I think it
Oh,
might
right.
be
Yeah, right.
fourth ish.
I think right now I have WandaVision number 1, Loki number 2, Falcon and Winter Soldier number 3, probably Moon Knight, then Hawkeye, then What If in terms of shows.
Okay, yeah, it'd be third. It'd be third for me because
Yeah.
the only thing with that would be flipped.
You would flip Falcon and
Falcon and Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't have Hawkeye rated very high.
You didn't watch it.
I haven't
You didn't
seen
watch
it,
it.
but like from the
It's-
reviews and stuff that I've heard,
Yeah.
it
It
also does
is-
not seem like a show I would want.
It has 2 great episodes. Remember 4 and 5 were really good.
4 and 5 are really good, and it feels really classic Avengers, like
Yeah.
Avengers 1 style,
Totally.
and not too much CGI, and it's lots of like quick action scenes.
And but that was another one where they were doing this big tease for something at the end, and then we get the thing at the end, and it sucks ass.
Kingpin was garbage,
Garbage, and the way they deal with Kingpin made me so angry.
and the fight scenes with Kingpin were terrible.
really bad.
And the ending of that, if you haven't seen it,
Spoilers.
spoilers, Kingpin apparently gets shot.
They should have just done Kingpin like they did Gilgamesh. Make him just this fucking Hulk of a like unstoppable force.
They tried,
It was
and
bad.
and like the fight scenes were horrendous.
Yeah.
You could tell like was Echo fighting him or no? It was
it was
Stainfield or her character.
what the hell's her name? Kate
Kate,
Bishop.
yeah, Kate Bishop. Yeah, but you could like all the throws and stuff were on wires, so it wasn't no impact to
Oof.
it. It was alright.
In a toy store, and it looked awful.
Yeah,
Anyway,
back to Moon Knight. Yeah,
Throw somebody into like a
Top
wall
3
and
for
make
me.
them go through the wall. Stop making them just stop at the wall.
yeah. I know I said this at the beginning, and it sounds like we're being. Well, I mean, not all of us are being negative. Noah, you
I
were quite
think-
positive on this show.
I
Mike, you
enjoyed
were
it.
pretty
Yeah.
positive.
I think it's a great show. Up to
I think
episode
everybody
6.
should watch it.
Yeah, going through it, I was like week to week. I was like, man, I think you should really give Moon Knight a shot.
Maybe some of my favorite visuals that I've seen.
Mhm.
I like there was some scene like
The
Stars.
costume is still dope.
Costume's dope. Khonshu's so sick.
Mhm.
Even Amit's like some of the scenes from Amit were just like super
Almond was
sick.
a huge payoff too. She
Mm.
looked dope.
She
Yeah.
looked
Top
super
dope.
duper cool. Obviously, the spinning of the stars during it was sick.
Yep.
The first time he puts the suit on is just dope. Like probably my favorite transformation.
Harrow
is when he's
scene was
putting
really
on the
good, too.
Suit.
Where he's like, I understand my scales aren't balanced, and he knows, and he's expecting to die,
Yeah,
and
Like
he's
he was
almost
ready
like
to die.
confessing his sins.
but then she's like, I did that before, and it didn't work out.
Yeah,
So-
so I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
Me too.
Something that really plays to the advantage of this is if you don't care about Marvel, then this is just a superhero movie.
It's
you
totally
don't-
worth
you
it.
don't
Oh
have-
yeah,
you don't-
standalone.
Yeah, it's a standalone thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any implications into multiverse. It doesn't
Mhm.
have anything that you need to know beforehand.
That's true. That is true.
Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, they all have
Baggage.
stuff that they're taking into the future.
Yep.
Moon Knight, it ends.
Yep.
And it ends on a good enough cliffhanger where it's like, okay, there's clearly like still more to be developed.
I hope so, but we
but
don't
we also
know.
still get closure for the 2 main characters.
Yeah, totally. But like, I don't. That's my thing. I'm a little worried about is we don't. They've gone on record and said like Oscar Isaac is not signed up for anything else after this.
Yeah, like they were
And-
like they have officially like I think they officially said there's might not be a season 2.
Yeah,
There's,
and, like-
it's very much so with the air.
It's that and what was I gonna say? Ah, shit, I forgot it. Anyway, yeah, I hope we see Moon Knight, and I want Moon Knight to show up in like a movie for sure. But I don't. I'm not sure if I would. I would watch a season 2, but I'm not sure if I'd be happy about it.
Moon Knight movie with a bigger budget
Absolutely.
and higher action scenes would
Mhm.
be crazy.
Better CGI. Remember that truck in the
Oh.
first episode?
Ooh. Speaking about trucks, I have to talk about the scene because it
Yeah, please.
killed me. The Layla fight against, was it a mercenary? Where there's like She's in the middle of the desert in that flare scene.
Yeah.
And there's one truck.
Yeah.
And she's like, they roll up and this dude with a gun, and she's like, oh, only one spot to go, behind the truck.
Yeah, and they're like, where'd
And
you
then
go?
she's like, oh, what the heck? It's like, man, there's only
Then
one other
just
spot she
shoot
should have
the
went.
truck.
Hey, John, did you put the explosives in the back of the vehicle that are easily ignitable?
Why'd they have
Yeah, I
to
sure
see
did.
her to shoot? Why were they treating her like, oh, we can't shoot her till we see the whites of her eyes? No, she's clearly behind the truck. She didn't dig a hole and hide in the
Laser
sand.
shit, then.
Shoot the truck
She
till it's
disappeared. Must have been the wind.
Yeah, it's a
Must
whistle.
have been the
Damn,
wind.
she must have
Yeah.
dug a hole, disappeared to the sand dunes.
I would love to do a video where we just talk about just henchmen being just idiots.
I think we could do
looking
a series about that, where like just bad
Full
henchmen.
episode of henchman qualities that we
Now,
love.
if you look here, they are shooting at the already established vibranium shield.
Very much bulletproof.
Not gonna get him that way.
I think that's pretty much it. I had another section where I wanted to talk about like the rest of the Marvel universe, like as we go forward. But I think we kind of covered a lot of that in this episode.
Honestly, at this point, I just want to play it by ear. I
Yeah.
have no expectations aside from
I'm pumped for Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm
I'm
gonna say
waiting
that.
for
Simon
Kang.
Taika doesn't go
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
I'm waiting for us to get something from Kang the Conqueror. I am super excited for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
Thor: the
Super
God
sick.
Slayer. Fantastic.
As far
backstory.
as we
Look it
know-
up.
Oh, Gore the
Look-
Butcher, is it?
Yeah, Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah.
So
Look-
good.
Just-
Apparently was supposed to show up in this show, by the way. Like they had to cut it from the
Really?
script, but like Gore was gonna come in and fuck up the Egyptian gods.
Oh,
Yeah, but then
That
they were
would be
like, that doesn't
interesting.
really fit with the story we're trying to tell.
No,
We
That
only
you
have
totally
can't-
would have
6
been a
episodes.
big bomb.
Yeah.
I
You
would love
can't
that.
just inject that after you already have a pre-established villain.
Yeah,
and
from
with
episode
Gore and
1.
his backstory, you need to give him like some time to develop because
Oh yeah.
he's not just like this OP God Slayer. Like there's reasons behind it
has-
that I
I
don't want to get
I
into
can't
it.
wait, guys.
But if they can build it right, he is so cool.
Brad, you have Thor: Love and Thunder on your draft,
I
right?
do.
Oh, he might show up in Love and Thunder.
He's
actually.
supposed to
yeah, he's
show
supposed
No,
to,
he's
right?
the
Yeah,
main
he's going
villain.
to.
Yeah.
He is the villain. I
Speaking
hope-
of Kang the Conqueror, we're confirmed to see him in the next Ant-Man movie, which is beginning of
Yes.
next year.
Yes.
Was it another Ant-Man movie?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Good for Paul Rudd.
Yeah, good for
I'll
him.
watch
I
it.
like
Paul
Paul
Rudd.
Rudd.
I
I
like
like
Paul
Paul
Rudd.
Rudd.
Paul
Honestly,
Rudd,
yeah. Ant-Man's character, I don't like him. Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd's
Paul
sick.
Rudd. Paul Rudd's my
Give
shit.
me more Paul
There's
Rudd.
some- There's
Rudd's
some
great.
good comedy.
I don't know how the fuck Paul Rudd's gonna fight Kang the Conqueror, but
Well, because they have like all these. They have the
Paul Rudd's
multiverse.
vibe,
They
bro.
have different universes,
We're
and
gonna
then
get a variant of Kang that's like a scientist, and they're gonna work together or something like that.
and then they have the quantum universe.
Yeah.
Those are all like three separate. Or no, they have the multiverse. They have dimensions, and then they have the quantum verse.
yeah, that gets
Right.
complicated.
All three of those are different things that behave different.
It gets complicated.
It is.
Yeah.
So like Ant-Man's whole thing is the quantum verse, where
think they
time
could-
is.
They could probably stop adding verses now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we
You
have
guys,
a
we need
lot.
verses. We need a chorus here.
Yeah, yeah.
we
I
gotta,
think,
nice
I
bonus.
think they only have the three. Oh, another.
we gotta solidify
This
some
is
things
kind of
here.
going back to Doctor Strange. We are in 616.
Yes.
This is the comic universe.
Mhm.
Whereas they have also previously stated that the universe that Avengers is taking place in is 199999.
Okay.
So we're still on the fence about what exact cinematic universe we are, but from what I know, we're supposed to treat it as the universe that we're viewing as watchers of the show or of movies.
Man,
Treat-
you just had a lot, and I didn't follow any of it.
treat nothing as if what we're seeing is the comic universe 616
Mhm.
and just treat it as its own universe, the one that we're
Oh,
actually
okay.
watching.
So, like what you're saying is like the comic universe is different from the movie universe.
well, they
Like
said
complete.
they said in Doctor Strange that our planet Earth that we're viewing is 616,
Which is not the comic. Which is the comic universe, right?
which is the comic universe.
Okay.
But we're not actually supposed to view it as 616 because then everybody can just read ahead and know exactly what's about to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Like
So
what
they said that we're 616. We're not
I get
actually
you.
616.
Okay.
And then they went to 838.
Yeah.
Which
I think it was
some
eight-
people are
I think it was
saying
818.
is the X-Men cartoon universe because Dr. Xavier has his weird fucking gold
Dude,
wheelchair.
Little
His
vibe
bumper
hot
car.
rod.
Yeah,
Hot
but that
rod.
was the one he
Fucking
used in
Hot Rod.
the X-Men cartoon, which
That
we're
is
getting
true.
more of next year.
Very interesting.
Anyway, I want to wrap this up.
I'm climb some stairs, Mr. Xavier.
Again, very pumped
It's a hover
for
chair.
I'm very pumped for Thor: Love and Thunder. I think I will give Ms. Marvel a shot, but this might be one of the first shows. I'm a little like disenfranchised with some of the shows to the point where like I'll probably watch the whole thing, but I'm not like pumped. You know?
I'm really worried about Ms. Marvel because from trailers and stuff, it looks like it has the same budget as like DC Flash.
I see what you mean.
Where I'm very concerned that the CG is not going to be a benefit but a detriment.
Yeah, but I mean, Marvel creates moments, man, and I think as long as they stop and think about the stories they're telling, and if the stories are good, rather than like, oh, this is going to be exciting for some audiences, while some audiences are going to be like, this is dumb.
Or I'm scared they're going to focus too much on the bigger story. You know what I mean? Like the overarching story,
rather than the individual.
Like you can't have broken bricks to build a house.
Great point, Brad.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a great way to say that.
Anyways,
I think they just need to get directors and producers that have a passion for Marvel. Because like Sam Raimi, he went on and said like he didn't watch all of WandaVision.
Yeah.
And
that was a little absurd.
That seems like something that really should be like a requirement for working on
integral
it.
to the story. Oh well. Who's got the time? Anyway.
Oh, we do. That's why we talk about it.
Love it.
We could do it better as we're not spending years of our life producing movies.
Yeah. One day. Maybe one day. 4 of us.
We're gonna
do it. We're gonna make a Marvel show.
If you make a Marvel show, I'll just like I want to be a background character. I want to get beat
You can
up
be
by
one of the
midnight.
goons that shoots at ankles instead of shields.
That guy's the real hero.
If somebody shoots
He's
a
the real
superhero,
villain.
make it me. Make it me.
Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode, guys and girls, and everyone in between or outside of.
Let your dog listen.
Yeah, let your dog listen.
Subscribe, get your dog, and subscribe it to YouTube.
Make your dog a YouTube channel.
Make the dog a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I gotta do
subscribe
it.
to the Junk Monkeys on YouTube.
YouTube.com/TheJunkMonkeys.
The Junk Monkey.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to the Creation Nation Makerspace. Yes, sir. For allowing us to use this great sound booth. It's Downtown Brandon. Find them on Facebook. It's in our description. Thank you very much to Daniel Mosionier. He makes some dope tunes. He had a great piece of music for our Northman review that I really, really liked. He does our music and he does our editing. So you can find his music in the description as well. Thank you very much for listening. We're trying to hit 35 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we're pretty on track. And
shout out to Noah.
Shout out to
for
Noah.
the dope thumbnails.
Great thumbnails. He's been killing it. Loved the last one.
No, not the last one. The one before that.
No, I love both.
I loved everyone so far.
They're pretty funny.
I still like the just chatting one.
Yeah, the just
Yeah.
chatting.
I thought that one was great.
I can't wait to see what you whip up for this one.
I have some plans.
Okay, cool.
Plans.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I suppose we will see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
See you later.
Farewell.
Catch you on the flip side.
In another multiverse.
Shut the fuck up.